Freaking out there. You can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth.
What do all men power want? More power.
My name is luca-zanna. I was an Italian by birth, and I became an American by choice. Our lives and freedoms are in danger. This is not a drill. If you're listening to this broadcasting, you are the resistance.
All systems go.
Welcome to Love, Guns, and Freedom.
We're not afraid.
Another Sunday, another show. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on K-Talks 1340 AM and also 104.1 FM. Here I am, I'm back. Last Sunday, probably you heard a rebroadcast. Guess what? Yes, I'm busy, life, I don't know, sometimes I need just a break. And unfortunately, maybe fortunately, I don't have it. I don't know. Maybe I will break when I die. And I always look at that, I'm trying to do as much as I can, not because I need to prove anything to others, but because I really want to do things before I go. Time is short, time is limited, I don't know. I want to use it the best way I can. And sometimes I put more on my bullet I can chew. Let's say, I don't know if it's the right expression, but anyway, I put more stuff I need to do. And by the way, I enjoy doing this show, I tell you. It's, even sometimes it's kind of, as I said, hard to find the time, even for just an hour. When you have many other things you do, it's kind of a commitment. I could use this hour to take a nap or to sleep or, I don't know, to play around. But I use also this as an opportunity. As I said, the only reason why I'm still here, because I think I can use through this microphone, through K-Talks, of course, and the internet, spreading a message, maybe just sharing information that I learned from somebody else. Because we all learn from somebody. We all learn from something. And we try to help each other in this awakening. It is a global awakening, I truly believe. And I have no rules here on this show. I have no parties, allegiances. I was the other day, by the way, I want to thank, and I'm sure Mr. Steve Rubin is not going to get mad at me, the owner of the station. I wanted to thank Craig Roberts. I'm sorry, I'm kind of tired today. Oh my God, Craig Powers, the vice president of a group of radio stations who had me on the show, Camera Broadcasting, just this week. I was promoting an opportunity for women victims of domestic violence to do a free seminar that, by the way, I just finished now. I just completed a few minutes ago. That's why I sound tired. And they're really nice, I tell you. They've been very receptive, and they're helping me out to spread this message out. I as I said, it's another company, another radio station, but Camera Broadcasting has been really very good to share this message, and I appreciate it. And at the same time, I want to say thank you for Steve Rubin to be very, very. I couldn't have better. I don't work for him. I'm an independent producer, but still, the freedom that I have on this station, it is amazing. It is amazing. And I'm telling you, this is the spirit of America. This is what's supposed to be. Freedom of speech. And don't get me wrong, I'm behind. I'm not just saying crazy things because I feel like it. Every time I bring you some opinion, I base it on facts. And if I'm wrong, I'll let you know. But most of the times, unfortunately, I'm right, and I have things to document it. So that's my point. But still, it's a great opportunity. So all I'm saying is this. I'm here, and I'll try to do this as much as I can, because I truly believe that at the end, we need to have everybody into this common awakening that it is the stand for freedom, for humanity. Now, when I was with, Mr. Powers, Craig Powers, we met at the station before the interview to talk about these free seminars that I sponsor at Kingman for Some Force for the victims of domestic violence. He asked me a question: what, political affiliation do you have? And And I said, my affiliation is America. My affiliation is the Constitution. I have no more parties, allegiances. Yes, in the past, I was Republican affiliated or whatever. Now, for me, the parties is just an illusion. It just, not just now, the last 6-7 years at least, I completely made myself independent. The only party I have, it's called the oath that I took when I decided to become an American. And I took the oath to defend this republic against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That's it. And to defend the Constitution. That's the bottom line. So that's my philosophy. I'm here, and I truly believe that as much as maybe not perfect, because it still, was written by human beings, the United Constitution, especially the Bill of Rights and the Declaration of Independence, are unique documents that no other nation, and I repeat again, no other nations around the world ever had the chance to experience. Now, things are crazy now. Things are different. We never had a perfect, don't get me wrong. This is not Shangri-La. We are not Paradise City. This is still a humanity. We are still on planet, somehow, whatever you want to call it, Earth. So the reality is, things have always been a fight, a struggle before perfections and imperfections, between good and evil, between corruption and the good people out there trying to do their job in an ethical way. The reality, though, is that at least we had a document, a foundation that no other nation had. I really believe that at least the first 100 years, this country experienced something that no other parts of the world ever did. Yes, there were slaves, but guess what? There were slaves before America. There were slaves after America. They are still slaves now. The difference, though, America, at least, even we try to reconciliate, and trying to compromise to create this nation, they were trying since day one to acknowledge the fact that all humans are created equal. And remember, there were slaves before the black people. There were slaves among the Indians. There were slaves, especially from the Arabs, conquering, and let's say, kidnapping people and putting on the slave market. And they're still there. Look in Libya now. So the reality is always humanity has been a struggle. But I tell you, America at least tried to create a place where finally humanity, the individual, had and has individual rights. Now, the fact that we are right now the way we are, it is not the Constitution's fault. It is not the Bill of Rights' fault. It is not our founders' fault. They fought and died. They gave everything they had. They bled. They gave their life. They gave their wealth. They did things that now we just read in a couple pages of American history. They think, just some dates or some battle, something. No, there was just real blood, a real sweat, real fear, real home burning, real executions, family destroyed, brothers and sons and fathers working, fighting together for freedom. And some of them die in each other's hands and arms. Think about it. You have a father with children going out, fighting for your new country, fighting for freedom. And one of your sons probably or maybe their father will not make it back. How many times happened? Maybe the wife never had the chance to see again their sons. All that for an ideal. It wasn't just an abstract concept anymore. There was a real ideal of freedom. That we were never supposed to bow down to any man or woman. We have rights. These rights, they are not coming from the government. They are in us. You may believe in God or in the gods or whatever, but the point is, the body gives you this right. They are yours the moment you were born. Unalienable. Okay? That's the reality. That's the reality. That's for me why I came to America. Even with these imperfections, especially the last, you want to get me the last 20 years? Just the 9/11 fraud. I've been talking about that. The Patriot Act. All this destruction of our rights. We know that. All these illegal wars. I'm not shy about it. After 20 years, if you still don't see Building 7 falling on its own footprint, and you don't see, charges and implosion into the 2W building, in New York, I'm sorry, again. What can I do for you? tell you buy a pair of new glasses, but that would be a waste of time anyway. So the point is, we are here now, in a big moment of history for humanity and for America, that people can say, you know, Constitution, we have the Constitution, yeah, the Constitution is there, the Bill of Rights is there, but remember, the Bill of Rights is not going to defend itself. It's not going to stand up and say, stop, tyrant, stop abusing me, stop abusing the people's rights. We have this at least now, something that our founders left, fighting for it, compromising and giving everything they had. We don't need to go there and fight for it. All we have to do is defending it. All we have to do is reclaiming it. All we have to do is stop being lazy and being afraid. Because you can be afraid after you're dead. Because at the end, you die anyway. And don't get me wrong, I'm not advocating for any violence here. I'm not saying you gotta be violent and do anything crazy. I just say stand up. Stand up and be courageous to speak up your mind. Sometimes I have people, I don't want to talk on Facebook because, you know, then somebody can think about, who cares? Who cares about Facebook? Who cares about what the government thinks about you? Let them know. And by the way, not all the government is bad, let me tell you. Government is made by good people and bad people. Unfortunately, it's, I don't want to say most, but many people look into government work, they have a kind of a mentality, kind of a DNA. And they like sometimes to boss people, other people around, especially in positions of power. Some people truly want to help, don't get me wrong. I think they have a function there too. But the idea of government, according to our founders, is supposed to be small. All these agencies, all these programs, all this extra government, all it does gives more room to corruption, more room to controlling us. We're never supposed to be like that. Government, little bit, was the function to defend our rights. What is the function of government? Defend the people's rights. That's it. And among those, life, liberty, property. The function of government was never about, oh, let's steal from him so we can give it to somebody else. No, it was never about redistribution of wealth. I call it legal theft, legal robbery. It was not about protecting our borders. You know, be sure that we have a country. And why it's so important? People say, oh, you are so, you know, nationalistic. Yes, I am. I respect other nations. At the same time, I believe that we have the right to exist as a sovereign nation. And how do you establish a sovereign nation? With borders. And why it's so important, especially now? So let me tell you what America is. You cannot say, I want to give up my American rights. The things that I can do in this country, being part of a big melting pot of world citizens. Our founding fathers gave us something that no other nations ever had and have. And I can tell you that because I've been a little bit around the world before I came to America. I went to Europe. I went to other parts of the world, South Pacific. I went to this little island called Tonga, Fiji, Samoa, Polynesia. Tonga, they still have a king, for freaking sake. I mean, can you believe that? Fat king can even tie his shoes. And don't you dare to speak in an offensive way about the king. Probably going to throw you ass in jail. Like in Italy. If you talk badly about the Italian president or you offend him, you could spend 5 years in jail. Guess what? Go to read my poem or listen to my poem on YouTube. It's a love poem to former Italian President Napolitano. That's why I'm an American. That's why I left Italy. That's why I say I want to be an American. Not about the potential, you know, economic opportunities. Don't get me wrong. For sure, there are more here than everywhere around. Sometimes you just need to look around. Even now with all the new restrictions, even now with Obamacare, even now with more government our back, this country offers still many more opportunities than all other countries together. Let me tell you from somebody living in Italy, escaping a system that is just a castration of every free human being, even from potential economic opportunity. So that's number one. But more important, it's about what I'm just telling you here. Don't get me wrong. We are far from perfection. We have right now a reality that don't have anymore. We are not living anymore under the rule of law. there is no justice. I'll tell you why. I'll have to tell you one name, Hillary Clinton. Not just her, other like her too. Obama itself. Former AG, a couple of AG, attorney generals under Obama. Holder. And the other one, what's her name? And so many more. And also the Republican Party side, don't get me wrong. I mean, Bush himself, Bush Jr., talking about war crimes and things, and cover up. So much. But for sure, just the last couple of years, what Hillary's done, and there is no justice yet. So we are facing a very serious, critical moment. That it's our responsibility. We can just cry and say, oh, complain. We got to do something. First thing, we got to admit it. If we don't admit that we are facing a serious problem, and we're still thinking that we are living in the land of the free, home of the brave, and everything's perfect, guess what? Wake up. We used to be the land of the free. Now, unfortunately, we become a land of the fee. You know? Look around. Every time, everywhere you move around, a new tax, another tax that they're supposed to repeal, they let it go, and more and more and more and more. You know, they try completely to milk the cows till they bleed. And in this case, we are the cows. This is unfortunate when the government goes out of control. Then this is when the government, from small, limited government that our founders envisioned, it becomes a government that feeds on itself and gets bigger and bigger. And more it eats, more it gets bigger, more they want. And this is not just at federal level. Look at City of Kingman. Okay? They were supposed to be in a kind of conservative area. They have the city council and the freaking department there. They always want more money. Never enough. $1 million here, $1 million there. They were trying to push more sale tax. I mean, seriously. Never enough. And then, gas tax and that tax. Think about it. And then the problem is not the government itself, but the good serfs, the slaves, that will pretty much completely defend this sort of mechanism, of predatory mechanism. I call it predatory mechanism. A government that doesn't get enough, never is enough, always wants more. That's a kind of predatory mechanism. I mean, car registration. You want to talk about that? You know, in Arizona, we have a pretty good compared to other states like California. I was just talking with the owner of K-Talks, Mr. Rubin. He was telling me that for a 2 or 3 year old truck, a couple of years old, he paid like $1,000 registration fee. What the heck? Every year you have to pay this blood mafia money. You know, I have more respect for the mafia, I'm telling you. At least I can shoot back. And maybe if I'm good enough, I can win. With government, you never can win. Pretty much it's like the time of the king. At the end of the year, they will come. If you don't pay part of your, let's say, farming or harvesting or coins, you will be dead. Same story with the car. You think you own your car? No, you do not own your car. You listen it from the government. Every year you must pay the little or big or medium. Doesn't matter if it's $1 or $1,000. It's always too much. They don't deserve it. And then there is the idiot out there on my Facebook page. In this case, is she an idiot? Oh, we need the taxes so we can have roads. Guess what? You're already paying the taxes for the roads. It's called the sale tax on your gas. Okay? Now, if the concept you want to pay a tax every time you buy something, I may somehow, even I don't like the idea, I may say, okay, you buy once, now it's mine, leave me the heck alone. I paid my tax. But if you open the gate of hell, because it's a hell's gate, that just because I own that thing, every year you, greedy, blood-sucking, vermin government, come to me and you want to ask me for money each year. It could be on the land, on my house, on my car, and why not on your maybe dishwasher? Why not on your couch? Why not on the beautiful plasma TV? Why not? They can do that on everything. Now the gates of hell, the gates of hell, are open. So you see, that's you think freedom, that you think ownership, that's just now another level of slavery. They just make you believe that you're free. They make you believe that you own your home. The difference from the slaves and us, that the slaves didn't have to pay property tax. They were fed, they were taken care, probably they get also free, in some society, like, the Roman, ancient Roman society, good slaves, let's say, slaves that they were important to their master, like, educators or even fighters. Think about the gladiators. They were very well kept. Good food, good wine, and medical and everything. They were like a possession. You take care of your fancy car, right? So the same story with a slave. The difference now that we are worse than slaves in some situations because we have to fence for ourselves. We got to pay for our own food. We got to pay for our own, health care, affordable health care that kill us. Don't even get me going there. I want to start cussing in Japanese, seriously. Every time I think about Obama and all these leeches that somehow supported this travesty called Obamacare, they're from $100, $120 a month I used to pay with Humana. Now I'm supposed to pay $550 for less. What type of distorted mind do you have out there if you still believe that's okay? Just because you want to leech out on my blood. Seriously. That's you think affordable? Maybe affordable for you because it wasn't affordable for me or millions like me. All right? So that's the point. We are becoming now, unfortunately, less the slaves. And I'll give you another example. It was an article on the Kingma Daily Miner. By the way, I want to thank this month, this week, they did a really great job in promoting this free self-defense seminar that I sponsor at Kingman Force on Force for the victims of domestic violence. I really appreciate it. Thank you. More important, I'm sure the women who came appreciate it. KPD, Kingman Police Department, set up enforcement of seatbelt laws. In Arizona, it's they cannot pull you over for the seatbelts. They need to have another offense. It's kind of a secondary thing. Let's say you have, speed up or whatever, and they can pull you over. And then, if you have no seatbelt, they're going to give you a fine. This is already at least something. But now, of course, even the police and the local police getting this sort of part or more and more pushing this agenda of mandatory seatbelts. And by the way, don't get me wrong, seatbelts can save your life. I agree with you. In some situations can be also dangerous too. But that's not even the point. The point is about the philosophical and more important practical question is, who owns your body? You or the government? Because if you truly believe you're a free human being, it's your responsibility to decide where you want to wear the seatbelts, right? I got life insurance. I got 4 life insurance. I got my overpriced health care insurance, whatever it is. I'm sure I'm going to be able to handle myself in case I smash my head inside my car without seatbelt, right? I'm over 21, unfortunately. I'm kind of old now, damn it. But I feel great. But my point is, it's not government business or collectivist dream to enforce a law that doesn't really mean anything to anybody else but myself. A law should be done always to guarantee other people's rights. My right, I can take care of myself. And now don't start to mix this up with, abortion. Oh, you see, Luca, there is a lady. I know, she's a friend. By the way, her name is Bonnie. Look, I agree with that. That's great. But why abortion is different? That's different because that's another human being. That's not just your belly that you got fat and now, out of the blue, leave me alone. This is my fat belly. I want to abort. No, that's a human being inside. Okay? He may not talk yet. You may not hear his voice or her voice. But that's a body. There is a heart. There is a soul. There is fears. There is, dreams. There is pain. That's the bottom line. That's why it's not the same. It's not about my body, my choice. No, that's your body, and then there's another part of the body that's not yours. It's another human being connected to you. Only thing you're doing there at this point, you put 50% of your DNA, and you're still feeding him. Yes, you're feeding him or feeding her. It's getting life from you. but he's still a human. He's still an individual. That's why I really truly believe abortion is terrible. So sad. So sad. You know? Anyway, back to the police, Kingman Police Department. Now they're going to do, let me read the article. Okay. By the way, the article is by Travis Rains. Hi, Travis. It's my neighbor next door to here. Kingman for Source. Kingman motorists who have become accustomed to not wearing their seatbelts should take note that local law enforcement is set to step up enforcement of Arizona's seatbelt laws starting this week. The Kingman Police Department is partnering with the Governor's Office of Highway Safety to enforce the state's secondary seatbelts and primary child safety seat laws. I mean, for the children, I completely agree. The child is a minor. Has the right to, cannot be independent to decide to put the seatbelt or not. She must have the seatbelt. I agree with that. But me, over a 21-year-old, I think I can manage that, government, without your help. I know when it's the right time to wear a seatbelt. And if I break my head, you're not going to pay anything. I'll take care of myself. Leave me the heck alone. So anyway, they call it Click It or Ticket campaign. That means increased traffic and enforcement patrols and other efforts to promote the message of buckle up, Arizona. It's the law. You know what? What law is that? I think in the past, even other people did laws that weren't exactly that good. There was a law that slavery was legal. By the way, it was also upheld in Supreme Court. Go check it out. Would you enforce that law? Would you go and say, okay, because it's the law, it's okay to have a slave? Would you do that? It's the law. See? Now, it's the law. It's the law what? The time you're a slave, that you say you can own my body and tell me to jump? It's about setting a precedent, my friends. It is not about the government gives a damn about you, if you're healthy or not. It's all about, for sure, lobbies of insurances. Insurances, lobbies, they have a lot of power. That's for sure. But more important, it's about control. It's about if you now, they can claim ownership of your life, of the way you move and drive. When you're not endangering anybody, be clear. I'm not talking about speeding up or doing crazy stuff that you can endanger others. I'm talking about my body. I'm supposed to be free to do whatever I damn please with my body. If I want to wear a seatbelt, it's my damn business. Simple as that. So anyway, KPD Deputy Chief Rusty Cooper. Hi, Mr. Cooper. I saw you a couple of times. You're very nice every time I see you. Sorry you got to do this job, but hey, somebody got to do it, I guess. Explain a primary offense means that the law enforcement officer can pull over the violator solely for that one reason. A secondary offense does not allow for law enforcement to pull over a vehicle, but if we pull over for another reason, another citation can be issued as a secondary offense. This is pretty much like the seatbelt, okay? So that's the story. Now, they will do a lot of zero tolerance. Means that if we pull somebody over and they're observed to be in violation of the seatbelt law, they will be issued a citation. The deputy chief added that there are many simple ways for people to stay safe, and one of the simple practices is to buckle up. Chief, I appreciate your concern. I appreciate your input. I appreciate you as a human being and also as a police officer. But please, it's not your goddamn business about my safety. Don't you? And I'm sure you don't care that much either. I'm not your son. If you were my dad, I'd say, okay, Dad, I'll do it. But excuse me the French, it's not your business. So this is for me one of the biggest invasion of freedom, because it's a precedent, and now if they say, hey, you got to put a seatbelt, guess what? They can also put maybe another situation. By the way, you don't need to eat that salt. Salt, after all, can really be careful at the blood pressure. Oh, by the way, don't eat meat, because meat can give you cholesterol, high cholesterol. Oh, please, don't eat that chewing gum, because you can choke on that. Oh, please, be sure that you don't wear shoes without rubber, because that way you can slip and hurt your head. What the heck? By the way, they've been trying to do it. They've been doing it in some states, like New York. I mean, you can check it out. Now, New York State, they're not allowing anymore to have processed meat. Like hot dogs. I don't care. I don't eat that stuff. I don't even give it to my dogs, but that's not the point. The point that you should be free to eat sewer, garbage food if you want to. It's your business. Okay? No government business to tell you what is good for you. By the way, then now the hot dogs, processed food is because of the environment. Oh, the global warming, because the cows are farting. Oh, give me a break. That's another way to enslave you. Okay? But yes, remember when there was the salt city ordinance in New York? No salt allowed. Or the other one, no sodas. Oh, they give you the size of the soda. Oh, stop that, too much. Guys, girls, ladies and gentlemen, we are under attack. This is not just New York. This is everywhere. It's happening. It's happening. So anyway, this is pretty much what I would like to say. It's a Memorial Weekend. And I'm telling you, we need to think a little bit about what really means Memorial Weekend. It is something that probably we just get used to the idea, and people think, oh, it means I'm going to do barbecue and, eat some greasy food and drink more beers and get drunk. No. There is much more. There is much more. We need to think really what we have in this country. It is not because it happened by accident. Not because, oh my gosh, yeah, we got lucky. Some people made a choice to really put their life on the line. The warriors. People that really gave everything they had. Don't get me wrong, I'm against illegal wars. And I tell you, the last war that we had, it was truly a constitutional war with the approval of Congress, declaration of war by Congress, was World War II. Everything else after was just another chipping away of our Constitution, another police action under the United Nations. Let's not forget, the Vietnam War wasn't a war, was never declared a war, was the United Nations action. And so thereafter. But beside that, there are people out there where before us, some of them, they're gone. They truly gave everything they had. They were willing to risk their life for an idea of good, for an idea of freedom. Unfortunately, this idea has been hijacked by bankers. It's been hijacked many times by the political machine of, let's put it in this way. I wasn't saying that. Somebody before me, much more credible, been telling it. Military-industrial complex. By the way, even President Trump, he mentioned it the other day. I can't believe it. Military-industrial complex. So that's the reality. But still, many of these men and women who gave their life, and they risked their life every day, they had a great heart. They had selfishness, interest. They truly believe that their life and their sacrifice would make a difference. So I honor these men and women, especially as an American who wasn't born here, but I became an American after, a naturalized American. And, I was in a country that, I'm not saying that everything Americans been doing after the war was great, but let me put it this way, many American men and women died, so I was able to be here today and not being forced to speak maybe another language, like German or Russian. And also very important, to be able to be free. Even technically, the freedom goes away every day. They chip it away every day. That's why I truly believe now our soldiers, to honor their oath to defend this republic, they should come back home and start to fight for our country here. Starting from defending our borders, not some other country's borders. Start to say, we need men and women here that they have the guts, the courage to stand up for this nation, to go to Congress, become congressmen, or become city council member, or county supervisors, and uphold the Constitution. That's what we need soldiers. We need soldiers also, ready to stand up in the public places and peacefully protest and say, wait a second, government, you can't do that. We have rights. Our founding fathers fought and died for those rights. Okay, don't put fears into us and thinking that we're going to give up these rights just because another excuse. That's the bottom line. So, little break. My God, I go like in a machine. I can talk for hours, I guess. But I'm not just chatting. I'm not just, I really mean it. This is come from my heart. Normally I have guests, and I may have more guests. I'm going to have guests. That's great. I had also great guests that I feel humbled to have on my show. But this is sometimes I need this type of breaks because I really truly want to show you who I am and where I'm coming from and how much I appreciate to be here with you. I'm a guy that really had the American dream, I'm telling you. And sometimes I complain a lot, but not because I'm complaining, because I want to make things better, because I want to bring things the way they were before this freaking mess. Okay? Oh, you're complaining, Luca. You don't like it. No, I like it, but I don't like the way it's going to. This is start to smell more and more, or stinks more and more like Europe, more and more like Italy. I left that freaking madness. Don't tell me that sale tax is every year 1 more point is good. In Italy, it's now 24% sale tax. It's only about give them a little more time, a little more, of your neck, and the blood will start to completely be extracted from your body. Government, when they see that there is no reaction, when you completely start to suck a little bit out of you, and you say, okay, it's just another little half point. We need it. It's for the schools. Oh, we need it. It's for the cops. Oh, we need it. It's for the road. Guess what? You wake up in 5 years from now, you're going to be like Europe. Sale tax 25%, 24%, like Italy. You really want to go there. So that's why I'm so completely vicious. Yes, I'm vicious. When I see government overreach, I get vicious. Okay? When I see taxation, especially when it's a taxation that it is not constitutional taxation. Supposed to be all taxed the same, by the way. Not like this, you make more money, you're going to punish more. No. You want to give them us all 10%, we all pay 10%. Supposed to be 50%, supposed to be all the same. This sort of progressive Karl Marx style bracket system, that's completely out of the Communist Manifesto, my dear friends. So more you work harder, more you get punished. We're supposed to be all equal, right? Think about it. And then, of course, think about it. Every time, every year, you have that car, or you have that, let's say, piece of land, or that little house that you work so hard all your life to buy, and you think finally you own it. Guess what? They will send you the letter in the mail and remind you, you better pay this blood money, slave, or we'll take it back from you. And we'll kill you meanwhile. People say, oh, it is not really like communist. It's just, kind of a soft till you pay. The moment that you don't pay, they will send the freaking SWAT team and kill you. All right, little break. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna. Do not go away.
He's a songwriter, a poet, a rifleman.
I'm not afraid.
And a constitutional activist.
I'm not afraid.
Italian by birth.
I'm not afraid.
American by choice. Gianluca Zanna.
I'm not afraid.
And his new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom. 16 powerful songs on one CD from the heart of a patriot. For download or to order the CD, go to www.lovegunsfreedom.com. That's www.lovegunsfreedom.com. Lyrics for your mind, music for your heart. Gianluca Zanna's new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom.
Here we go, I'm back. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on K-Talks 1340 AM and also 104.1 FM and also, of course, on, you can go to lovegunsfreedom.com and we'll direct you directly to my personal live feed, or at least to my even recorded archive audio. Now, what's going on? We talk about a little bit about Memorial Weekend. More important, the principles, why America truly believe has some very unique things that no other country around the world has. And even things when they're getting worse, it's our duty to bring it back and to make it better. That's why we got to do it not just for us and for the people who are coming after us that truly we are responsible for. I mean, seriously. also for the people who came before us, who sacrificed everything they had. This is so sad when I see Americans, they have no even idea that this is supposed to be a republic. They have even no idea what really happened when our forefathers fought for our independence. They think it's just some sort of a game, or maybe, too much of this toxic masculinity. If it wasn't for the toxic masculinity, how they want to call it, we would be still British subjects right now. Okay? Seriously. Now, of course, we're becoming subjects of whom? Of bureaucrats. Subjects of corrupted government politicians. Okay? But it's our job. It is not our founding fathers' fault. It's not the Constitution's fault. It is not the Bill of Rights' fault. The things they are the way they are. It is our fault. Then we need to defend these principles. We need to stand up. Okay? Now, let's go back to other things. Things happening in the world, also happening here. Because I tell you, whatever is happening in Europe, we are just next. Now, Rome, Italy. I had a lady, very nice lady, who is my friend on Facebook. It's a young lady, very nice, good-looking lady, very, very smart. I like her. We are friends. That's it. I have friends, a lot of people. I got almost 5,000 friends on Facebook. Some of them we communicate. She is Italian descendant. I don't want to go into names. It's her business. But she's very nice, smart. She wanted to go on vacation to Italy, to see Italy. Because she's excited. Because, after all, her grandfather and grandmother was from Italy. And she idealized this Italy that must be some very beautiful place. And I say, Nicole, so sorry to disappoint you, but the Italy that you fantasize, that you idealize, is gone. What do you mean? I have no idea. Sometimes I assume that everybody's kind of like me, reading Italian news or subscribing some channels from Europe, that I can see all these travesties, criminals acts, every day happening in Europe. These are not just some conspiracy. These are everyday acts of violence. Italy is being completely inundated, completely conquered by hordes of barbarians. With all the respect with barbarians, because barbarians is a very generic, word. These are created exactly by design, by the globalists, not just to Italy, but to all the northern part of the world, to be invaded, to create this new, let's say, they call it, I didn't do that. This is directly from one of the New World Order architects, the Kalergi plan, the mud race. I have friends there, different colors. I don't care which color you are. You can yellow, brown, or orange. I don't care. You're a human being. But this is the point here. They don't want human beings. They want slaves. The international bankers want to create a race of slaves. That we are somehow all desperate, hating each other, fighting against each other. And of course, the idea is to create this mud race. That means you have now, normal European have their white background. Okay, that's heritage. Now, if you unleash 20 million North Africans and Muslims, you're going to have an interest experiment. And I would have no problems if it was something, by spontaneous movement of people moving and whatever, doing their business. No, this has been all by destruction of sovereignty of the sovereign nations and destruction of cultural and heritage identity. Because to create a new world order, you must have a new global slave. That's it. That's the bottom line. And it's happening. The problem also, they don't just use people that say with different colors. No, they use people that are like the stormtroopers of these disintegrations of nations. The Muslims. If I were in Europe right now, in Italy, I would be probably have already the carabinieri or the police knocking at my door, just for what I just told you. They would say, this is hate speech. You can't say that. No, this is facts. Factuals. Let's look at history. The Muslim, they've been trying to invade in Europe for centuries. Let's not forget 1632, I guess, or whatever, the Battle of Vienna, in Vienna, Austria. There was a huge battle. The Saladin, was stopped. They were trying to conquer Europe. They tried many times with their violence and the scimitars. And wherever they went, there wasn't about peace. There wasn't about religion of understanding, of, turn the other cheeks or whatever. It was about, or you submit to Islam or we chop your head. Simple as that. After we rape you and your daughters, and your son, and your dog, They don't like dogs anyway. So that's what they do. Don't forget the goats. That would be really nasty. If I were saying this in Europe now, I would at least, first of all, be fined, civilly and criminally persecuted. Forget about that. Probably I have somebody outside waiting for me at the station with a scimitar and try to chop my head. Oh, they can try here too, don't get me wrong. The point is, in Arizona, you gotta watch. We don't have just, we have plenty way to defend ourselves. Let's put it in this way. The right to keep and bear arms is well and alive in the state of Arizona. That's my point. So Europe now, it's gone. And when I was revealing this fact to this lady, young lady, that, has Italian heritage, she really would like to go to, she was freaking out. And I was just sharing with her some basic facts of news, very sad news. Like a young lady, 16, I guess. She's been kidnapped by 6 Nigerians in this sort of a very dangerous building, all being occupied by refugees. And she's been raped for days. Raped for days by 6, not even want to call them men. They are like subhumans. And then chopped in pieces. After all, that's their culture, So we need to go into multiculturalism. And then, of course, what? More and more acts of violence. Another one was against a young man in Turin, walking on the road, on the street, going to work. Walking because, in Italy not many people can afford a car, with a registration of thousands of dollars, insurance that is thousands of dollars a year. And then, of course, with the gas price, forget about it. So they walk. And he was happy somehow. This poor bastard was happy even to walk in the cold of Turin, going to work. And then you have this son of a gun, I don't want to call other names, Muslim, of course, that he didn't like the fact that this guy was smiling, he was happy. So just out of the blue, without any reason, just stab him in the neck and die. And then when he got arrested, why did you kill him? He was smiling. He was happy. Don't get me wrong, not every Muslim is a criminal. Not every Muslim does do these things. But the point is, there is the common denomination here, factor, that if you see a good Muslim must follow the book. The book is clear. Their scriptures are clear. You must follow the steps of your prophet. Who is your prophet? Muhammad. Muhammad wasn't exactly a man of love and peace. He was exactly the opposite. He was proud of that he chopped the head of about 600 Jews in one day. Think about it. It takes a lot of energy, by the way. He was proud that he had a daughter that she was about 10 years old or so. We'll figure it out, the details. So that's your example model. The model. That's your role model. Good luck. Good luck. Now this is Europe. Now this is the Roman Colosseum. You have this video directly from, I find it on Facebook, but it's on YouTube everywhere. And this is very serious. You can see now the Roman Colosseum surrounded. There we go. And they're all sitting down, like nicely with their stinky feet and with their stinky butts in the air. I mean, I wouldn't join their cult just because I need to be smelling their feet, the feet in front of me, and probably somebody farts. That would be a disaster. Think about it. Somebody's farting when you're praying to your God, whatever it is. You're going to be sure that somebody will fart in your face. I'm sorry. You see how they set up? They're all lined up. First thing, you're going to smell their stinky feet. That's number one. That's a fact. Don't tell me that everybody washes their feet. I don't believe that. And number two, you know that 1 out of 10, I'm sure that they're going to fart. And then you're going to smell that too. You're supposed to be smiling and, be happy and dreaming about the 50 virgins or whatever you have. That's Rome, 2019. Colosseum surrounded by a bunch of people who don't really believe in integration. According to their book, they don't believe in love. They don't believe in understanding each other and live and let live. No, they understand that they want to completely submit and convert. By the way, that's not just there. Then you have, of course, French going off at Paris, the airport of Paris, being completely inundated by hundreds of North African, most of them Muslims anyway, completely reclaiming that it's their right to be there. Then we have a terror explosion in French city of Lyon, injures at least 13 people, including an 8-year-old girl. Police last night, locked down the Victor Hugo area of French city Lyon, while the streets were filled with soldiers and firefighters. Soldiers, this is now coming down to, pretty much martial law. It's a beautiful town, Lyon, bang, bomb, and guess who was somehow reclaiming it? Well, that's one of them again. And many, many other things. Let's not forget the church burnings, all the things. By the way, it's not just Notre Dame Church. There have been hundreds of church burning. There have been videos of churches in Rome being vandalized on video, always the same. It wasn't exactly the typical Italian doing that type of acts, but they were always these refugees with, let's say, Muslims background. Where am I going to? I'm going that if people in Europe don't wake up fast enough, they still want to be somehow, let's be nice. It is just some exception. No, this is just, the exception is the opposite. The exception is the person that would somehow behave civilly. The average of them, they follow their book. Forget about also, how much the Italian taxpayer or European taxpayer is paying to support that. But meanwhile, you cannot have, according to the Swedish government, nor even ancient Viking symbols. They want to ban them because they claim they can constitute incitement to hate. So let's say you have Thor hammer, or you have other symbols like, Viking symbols like the walnut, or other things that they are really, really part of your history and also religious belief. They want to make this illegal. By the way, it is already illegal in Europe. If you are in Italy and you say that you just do the saluto fascista, that means you raise your hand like the gladiator used to do, Ave Caesar, that was what Mussolini used to do, the fascist, salute. And I am not a fascist. I'm the opposite. I would be probably being killed by Mussolini time. I refuse to serve or to obey any type of totalitarian form of government who somehow completely ignore the rights of the individual. But the point I'm trying to do here, you're supposed to have the freedom to do any salute you want. In Italy, you cannot raise your right hand and look like you were doing a fascist salute. You can get arrested. Okay? Think about it. Now, they can make also next step, if you have a symbol of, let's say, Viking heritage, they can make that like a hate crime. Like, for example, in Germany, you cannot have a swastika. By the way, the swastika, people may not know, is the most ancient sign. It's a sign that is deeply religious. Now, the average person may know the swastika, think, must be the Nazi, must be Hitler. Hitler hijacked the sign from a complete ancient belief. Okay? It's a sign completely the opposite of what Hitler made them famous around the world. So be sure. The problem is the government now having the power to make a thought, an idea, illegal. Even just thinking about it. Okay? But meanwhile, if you're a communist in America, or if you're a communist in Italy, communists have completely killed and murdered millions of people, probably you're going to get dedicated like a square, a public square, or a street in your name. I mean, we're talking about, I remember when I used to go to, in Italy, my grandmother, from my mother's side, my grandfather used to have a beautiful apartment on the coast. And the street was Via Antonio Gramsci. Via its root, Antonio Gramsci was a real son of a, whatever you want to call it. I hate these communists. I'm telling you, normally I don't hate anybody, but them, I hate them. This little, twerp, little half man, chicken neck man with little, glasses full of hate, that he was one of the biggest founders of the Italian communist movement, who killed and murdered through his books thousands and thousands and millions of people around the world. Antonio Gramsci, they give him also the freaking street. dedicated to his honor. Think about it. So let's talk about socialism in America. Because now it's so cool to think, oh, the millennium, we need to be socialist. Okay?
Programs that are in place now.
Now let me show you this from the beginning, okay?
They didn't even need to start going in a direction of pure socialism. I ask you as a Native American, you've already placed us on reservations. Why place the rest of the country on one? My name is Michaela LeRae. I was born in Bishop, California, and I'm a member of a Southern California Native American tribe. In 1989, Native American activist Russell Means sat before the Senate, and he boldly paraphrased, if you want to see
an example of failed socialism, go to an Indian reservation.
If you go to Indian reservations these days and in the past, you will see impoverished reservations living in third world conditions, and they are a product of a dependent lifestyle, dependent on a government to appropriate funds correctly to them. That is what socialism is. That is where socialism will take us. And it will create a dependent society to where we have no independence anymore on what we can do and what we can't do. The government programs that are in place now to help the Native American, they didn't even need to be there in the first place. If they had let us keep our land and let us keep our way of life, we could have flourished as a people. But instead, the government thought it was best to place us on reservations and strip all of our freedoms away, one by one. And now we are dependent on those programs.
All right. You got the idea. Now it's almost there at the end of the show. Happy Memorial Weekend to everybody. You know, you can do whatever you want. You know, you can drink, have meat or whatever, grilling. At least I say one thing, among your other things you do, if you can. Go to the range, bring your family, bring your friends, get a rifle, forget a gun, we need rifles. The defense of this republic, it lays on our shoulders. That's all I'm saying. And that would be probably the biggest way you can honor people before us who came and gave everything they had to give us what we have today. So, go to the range, lock and load, have fun, be safe, be nice. You've been listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna, and may the gods willing, I'll talk to you next Sunday. Ciao.
Are you ready to get lost in lust? Immerse yourself in a thunderstorm of emotions and passion. Order John Luca-Zanna's new book, Perfectly Crazy, 69 erotic visions and love poems with forbidden erotic Italian phrases. Perfectly Crazy by John Luca-Zanna. Available all over the world at Amazon.com and www.zanna.us.